love using Adobe Express for making brand kits. The biggest benefit is how easy it is to take all of the elements that I've developed for a brand and have them be accessible in one place.
My bad for my apologies, man. This damn audio shit was acting up on my computer. I was doing some dumb shit.
VFly is a company that helps your YouTube videos go viral using Google Ads, which helps you get noticed in Google search, which, by the way, is the first reason why you should use VFly to promote your YouTube.
Level design is of the wide linear variety. Attack patterns, figuring out where I can maximize my punishment windows, and tweaking my loadout in ways that made the best use of my chosen powers. Combat in Black Myth Wukong is simple and elegant, thanks in part to some tools that are really fun to play around with. Success hinges on a delicate balance of Twitch reflex style gameplay mixed with careful resource management that largely revolves around a focus meter, which builds up when you land hits and perfectly dodge enemy attacks. You gain a focus point whenever that meter fills up, which you can then spend in the middle of a light attack combo for a varied combo, or you can just use a heavy attack on its own for a powerful strike that can be charged even further if 2, 3, or even 4 focus points are consumed all at once. You also have access to a small handful of spells, governed by a mana meter, that are versatile enough to be useful in a wide array of situations. The Immobilize spell, for instance, freezes enemies for a short time, allowing you to get in some quick hits and potentially stagger them to allow for even more free damage. Cloud Step turns you invisible and creates a decoy for your enemies to focus on while you break away, heal up, and then hit your foe with a surprise attack that can crit. Rock Solid briefly turns you into a statue that will cause an enemy's attack to bounce right off of you, giving you an opportunity for a counterattack. Ring of Fire creates a barrier around you that will initially repel enemies and grant you some health restoration, along with enhancing any stat-altering drinks that you may use while standing inside of it. And finally, there's my personal favorite, a Plug of Many, which lets you make multiple clones of yourself to all gang up on an enemy at once. Separate from that, you've also got transformations, which allow you to morph into powerful creatures that you've already bested in battle. What's really cool about these is that they don't cost any mana, they're tied to a very lengthy cooldown instead, and they turn you into a totally different character, complete with an all-new moveset, special moves that use their own focus meter, and more. For example, one of the first bosses that you fight is a wolf with a fiery dual blade that has a lightning-fast dash attack. When you defeat him, you'll gain his transformation and be able to do that very same dash attack to your enemies, and once you build up its focus meter, you'll even be able to do a hugely powerful leaping strike that can ignite foes and deal damage over time to them. And then finally there are spirit skills, which are earned by defeating certain more powerful versions of enemies and absorbing their essence into your gourd. These are effectively transformations that only last for one attack and are also tied to a fairly lengthy cooldown, but it's great to be able to, for example, use the Wandering Wight's powerful headbutt attack to get an extra stagger after immobilizing an enemy. These spirit skills can also be leveled up, which makes it so that even the early game spirits never lose their strength as the campaign rolls on. It's an excellent blend of options, especially when
What the fuck going on? Every time I try to use my little controller, the Bluetooth, I guess it may be the Bluetooth, not even on.
subtitles would drop out completely, leaving me without any clue as to what was being talked about and no way to rewatch the cutscene. Characters would occasionally switch to speaking Chinese all of a sudden, despite me having the audio set to English. The lip flaps of the English dub often don't even remotely match what's being spoken.
Oh, thank me to God. Oh, finally then the 3 bells sang. Disciples come, I hear.
And most of the journal entries you find along the way haven't even been localized yet into English. The worst, though, was one particular fight in which the boss would plunge me down through the ground during the transition to its final phase, only to have me fall through the world once I regained control of my character. This kept on happening to the point where I thought my game was unavoidably bugged and I wouldn't be able to reach the end. But my insanity of trying the same thing over and over again eventually yielded a different result for no discernible reason. These are the kinds of technical problems that Game Science will hopefully look to address in post-launch patches. And it's not outside the realm of possibility, as even Cyberpunk 2077 was eventually whipped into shape after its own buggy launch. I hope that those fixes come swiftly, because while I still wholeheartedly think that the things that Black Myth Wukong does so right are worth dealing with those problems, I would love to be able to recommend it without those caveats. As Game Science's debut action game, Black Myth Wukong is mostly a great success, despite some major technical black marks and localization issues that are likely to cause some frustrations at launch. Combat is fantastic, thanks to a great balance of careful resource management and lightning-fast twitch reaction gameplay that tested my skills as much as Elden Ring ever has, despite it being a more traditional action game than From Software style. Not only that, but there are a ton of exciting boss battles, a great variety of enemies, and the world they inhabit is an absolute treat for the eyes and ears. Its story has its moments, but relies a bit too much on having prior knowledge of the events of Journey to the West, and it really could have used a map to make its rewarding exploration measure up to the strength of the combat. All said, its strengths more than carry it through, making Black Myth Wukong a great action game that could be even greater if Game Science can squash the bugs. For more Black Myth Wukong, make sure a great balance of careful resources are worth dealing with those problems. I would love to be able to recommend it without those caveats. As Game Science's debut action game, Black Myth Wukong is mostly a great success, despite some major technical black marks and localization issues that are likely to cause some frustrations at launch. Combat is fantastic, thanks to a great balance of careful resource management and lightning-fast twitch reaction gameplay that tested my skills as much as Elden Ring ever has, despite it being a more traditional action game than From Software style. Not only that, but there are a ton of exciting boss battles, a great variety of enemies, and the world they inhabit is an absolute treat for the eyes and ears. Its story has its moments, but relies a bit too much on having prior knowledge of the events of Journey to the West, and it really could have used a map to make its rewarding exploration measure up to the strength of the combat. All said, its strengths more than carry it through, making Black Myth Wukong a great action game that could be even greater if Game Science can squash the bugs.
So this is a PC review, or is this considered a review? I'm about to look at what people are saying on shorts. These people sound terrible.
Hey everybody, I'm going to give you my opinion on that new game called Black Myth Wukong. Now, it's the most wish-listed game on Steam as of May, and so everybody's super stoked to play it and get it, and the trailers make it look like this awesome Dark Souls-esque smash-'em giant monsters based on this mythical Chinese story, and I played the game and was totally bamboozled because not only is it kind of sort of like the mythical story, but it's Donkey Kong. It's not even on the Nintendo Switch. It's on the PlayStation for some reason. And the stick that he swings around is a golf club. It's Mario Golf, but with only Donkey Kong. And for some reason, they put Tiger Woods in it and the ghost of Arnold Palmer. And there's like a whole bunch of ads to drink the Arnold Palmer tea in this game. So maybe that's why they put his ghost in there, but I don't know about this. Hey everybody, I'm going to give you my opinion on that new game called Black Myth Wukong.
I don't understand what his complaint is not. What they talking about?
Black Myth Wukong reviews are in. If you missed it, this is a new Souls-like game that's telling the story of a legendary Chinese folktale, and for people that grew up with this story, getting a game like this is a dream come true. But on top of that, even if you're not into the lore, sounds like a solid Souls-like game. So far, Black Myth Wukong has an 82 on Metacritic, with 8s, 9s, and 10s pretty much across the board. We've got a 4 out of 5 from Games Radar, 8 out of 10 from IGN, and an 87 from PC Gamer, but my favorite review is from .esports, where they gave the game an 8 out of 10 and said Black Myth Wukong is living proof that developers other than From Software can create top-tier action RPGs. But there is something to worry about. Review codes were only sent out for the PC version of the game, and that's giving some people flashbacks of great Cyberpunk 2077 reviews only for the game to run horribly on consoles at launch. But assuming that's not a problem, when so many developers are trying to take on the Souls-like genre and not many nailing that level of quality that fans expect, these high reviews say a lot. Let me know down below, what do you think about these reviews, and are you going to give Black Myth Wukong a shot? Black Myth Wukong reviews are in. If you missed it, this is a new Souls-like game that's telling the story.
Y'all playing this game? I'm over here playing the game. But y'all playing Black Wukong? Cause I am gonna get Black Wukong. But I'm gonna try to get it this month. Hopefully I can. I know it's gonna be like $70. So I'm gonna play that shit on Switch. You know, I'm gonna be playing the fuck out that game battle. But right now, you know, a nigga broke. I gotta consider that. But yeah, I definitely want to play this one. Sure. Y'all playing this? Right now I'm playing Ghost of Tsushima too. Well, that shit is crazy. So, we're gonna look up something. What's going on with Kingdom Hearts 4, bro? I mean, I haven't heard a fucking dime about it, bro. I could have sworn that shit was gonna come out and okay, there we go. I just had to kill some people on. But yeah, what is the point of all this shit? Like, if they saying this is for PC, then what does the game look like? What they talking?
Google AI helps you find your best customers by optimizing your campaigns in real time. Start by setting your specific goals, and Google AI will help maximize your reach across search, YouTube, display, shopping, Gmail, Maps, and more, all from a single campaign. Put Google AI to work for your business. Sign up for Google Ads today.
There are several factors that ultimately work against Black Myth Wukong, all of which I'll detail in this review. However, none of them actually take away from the addictive spectacle of this experience. It's a journey through many unknowns that compile onto the player until you ask, how did I get here? A question I continue to ask myself while playing, yet there I was at 2 a.m., taking mental notes about the direction of this game, only for it to pull the rug under my feet to reveal a more ridiculous hand, fitting of the source material's comedic roots. Ultimately, for better or for worse, Black Myth Wukong is a game that follows the old saying of throwing everything at a wall and seeing what sticks. Luckily for developer game science, a few of these systems do, but the demands of player time and understanding lead to the exhausting exhibition of tales closer to the Odyssey rather than Journey to the West. Black Myth Wukong has players assume the role of the Destined One, who shares the appearance of Sun Wukong, a powerful monkey currently stuck in stone. The opening depicts a mighty battle which follows the Monkey King's imprisonment in the stone and the years that pass as followers await the revival. As a hopeful, you train and take on various missions to gather the objects needed to revive the king, and that's where the story kind of evaporates. Sure, you'll encounter other characters and things do happen, but nothing will ever actually make sense. Characters and systems are introduced only to be forgotten moments later, leaving the impression that the developers all worked in separate groups and then slowly brought the project together. The game's pacing is never in question because you're always in action or going somewhere. Time isn't wasted on exposition or adequately preparing you for what's happening on screen. It just plays out and demands you keep up. Now, the required lore can be found in text entries in the menu that weren't completely translated when I was able to access them. These do outline encountered characters and enemies and give you a better understanding of who and what they are. Outside of that text though, good luck. I was amazed by the speed at which the game would introduce characters only to have you fight them within seconds and then you never see them again. Characters like Tiger Vanguard, who makes the best introduction later, only to be defeated and never come up again. In any typical game, this character would easily be one of the main villains, but here, he's just a set piece. And the villains get even more incredible. I stopped wanting substance and found myself eagerly just searching for my next foe. This game makes you hungry for the thrill of whatever it's about to throw at you, and going in unprepared only adds frustration to the experience. This is where the player experience will be divided. In the same breath of games like Stellar Blade, Black Myth seems to only care about pushing action systems to their limit while shoving gorgeous set pieces and well-designed boss encounters into your face, and hope you don't care too much about why you're doing it all. There's a narrative there for those who want it, but you'll have to read the menus to fill in the gaps because this game is a bullet train and there's only time to stop for fights, which there are many. Boss battles happen often out of nowhere. Sometimes you have to randomly fight multiple bosses back to back for no apparent reason. Thankfully, there's a gracious checkpoint system that puts you close to the beginning of a fight, but in the event of multiple phase battles, you do get to start from the form that you died on to save time. Grunt encounters also take up a bulk of your time playing, but they are taken down pretty easily most of the time and are only really a threat when they're in groups. The Souls-like systems are pretty forgiving in this game, which has me almost just referring to it as a challenging action game, but I rarely felt like I couldn't get through a fight. Each of the 7 in-game areas are huge, with branching paths that allow you to head out in different directions and just see what happens. There's little to no direction, but you quickly get used to being lost. There was a time in the game where I was knocked out, captured, imprisoned, and woke up. A scene showed my character just pulling out a staff, which they left with him behind bars, and I broke out to another weird alarm system that never came back ever again and was never explained when it happened. Anyway, you get the point. This game is a journey that wants you to feel like you're on a real adventure, and I do think it accomplishes that. So let's talk about the action systems. Players are equipped with a staff, which becomes more powerful as you gain levels. Taking down enemies gives you experience and will used to buy and upgrade equipment, but I might be getting a little ahead of myself. In the opening hours, combat is very straightforward, and then you start unlocking new abilities and skills, each with a skill tree that can be used to refine your combat capabilities. I found myself filling out the skill trees for the defensive abilities like Paralyze to make combat a little more accessible, but there's a lot to parse through when considering how you want to build out your character. Further, you can reset these skills at a shrine whenever you want, which we'll discuss more later. Combat is exhilarating and probably the best part of the entire experience. In action, you can't help but be hypnotized by the on-screen acrobatics and skill-based combat. Players can cycle through stances that change light and heavy attack patterns. As you land attacks, you'll increase a gauge that allows you to unleash a powerful heavy attack. You can also equip spirits that can be individually upgraded for greater effect. Perfect dodging slows down time and adds iframes, but I will say that if you're looking for relentless Sekiro Shadows Die Twice meets Elden Ring levels of challenge here, well, you should probably lower those expectations. This game wants you to complete it eventually, and deaths only send you back to the most recent shrine, but you will keep your experience and will. The consequence of dying is mainly found in time wasted. Some enemies and navigating stages tax the player as they run headfirst into a fight, which they probably just died 10 times on already. Luckily, you can travel to other areas, grow stronger, and then return. I'd also say that there's enough side content happening alongside the main campaign to allow you to gain some levels. My only wish is that there is a proper aerial combo because the weird jump kick isn't fun.
ever. There's an enormous pool of enemies that you'll encounter aside from the boss battles that constantly push your understanding of combat and reading enemy telegraphs to get through. I will say that the lock-on option is a little wonky and some enemy placements can come off as lazy, as areas seem to have just copied and pasted layouts, dampening the experience. An example of lousy enemy placement is an area where you have to climb out of prison and get to a part where you have to balance on some wood, but there's 3 enemies that are strangely placed there that when automatically locked on, your character will just attack them and fall to their death. Situations like this feel very disjointed from the other areas, but they are rare. One of the most significant downsides of the entire experience is the lack of a map. These areas are enormous, and while you get accustomed to their layout after multiple visits, a map would have greatly helped. Fast travel is also hurt by this, with shrines allowing you to visit earlier areas, but there's no indication about where the points are in the level. Shrines are also where you craft new items, weapons, and equipment, which all eventually get unlocked linearly. While it's possible to find some rare equipment in chests around the map, most of the strongest equipment unlocks during event milestones. Equipment has some unique buffs and stat increases, but I got through the game without much thinking by equipping the newest items as they were available. Black Myth Wukong is gorgeous graphically. Each environment has distinct areas to explore, but cave dungeons are overused a little too much. An argument could be made that the team played it safe regarding locales, but they do some unique things here, such as environmental puzzles that change the landscape, or mid-bosses that keep you from realizing you've been in a forest area for the last 10 hours. Black Myth Wukong is a spectacle from beginning to end. Those who wish to immerse themselves fully into the world will be treated with a large serving of Chinese lore, and those who don't can enjoy a challenging action game. Ultimately, I believe Black Myth Wukong put all of its resources into the combat system, and that pays off by keeping the player invested in taking down the many enemies within this adventure. The result of all this can appear a little disjointed at times, only focusing on a specific group of players. With that said, I applaud Game Science for creating an adventure that feels like an adventure. 30 hours into the game, I was reading through some in-game journals, as if I was reminiscing on quests that took place 20 years ago, and I was strangely overcome with nostalgia. I don't know if a game like this can ever be replicated in the same way and still deliver this amount of charm, but for what it is, Black Myth Wukong is an enjoyable video game. Noisy Pixel is giving Black Myth Wukong an 8 out of 10. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers.
Everybody giving this an 8. 8 is great. Don't get me wrong. 8 is good, but how's everybody giving this an 8? It's not making sense. See what GameSpot says.
Nothing beats a night out with a merry band of friends. But if you drink and drive, you're rolling the dice with your life and the lives of others. So make the right choice or expect some serious consequences. Drive sober or get pulled over.
Black Myth Wukong surprised me. Going in, I knew not to expect a Souls-like, despite it seemingly sharing many of the genre's hallmarks. The game's Chinese developer, Game Science, has been adamant that it's not a Souls-like, preferring to define it more generically as an action RPG. This is at least partially accurate, as Black Myth Wukong is definitely not a Souls-like. What I wasn't expecting was for it to be essentially a lengthy boss rush. It's not uncommon to go from one boss fight into another and then another, and it's in these elaborate battles where Black Myth Wukong shines. The moments in between, however, aren't quite as strong, sometimes devolving into aimless tedium, but its satisfying combat and unique variety of boss fights mostly manages to overcome these flaws. Black Myth Wukong's story is based on the classic Chinese novel Journey to the West. Originally published in the 16th century during the Ming Dynasty, the epic saga has proven to be incredibly long-lasting and influential since its release, inspiring everything from Ninja Theory's Enslaved Odyssey to the West to Akira Toriyama's Dragon Ball manga. Black Myth Wukong's take on the enduring tale is set sometime after the original story, while still retaining many of its characters. Names like Zhu Bajie and Kang Jinlong and the Demon Ball King will be instantly recognizable to anyone familiar with Journey to the West, even if certain characters' allegiances sometimes differ from the source material. You play as a mute monkey known as the Destined One, who shares more than a few similarities with the titular son Wukong, a legendary simian commonly known as the Monkey King.
Sun Wukong is a prominent character in Journey to the West, so your unexpected presence is one of the game's central mysteries. Are you the Monkey King reincarnated, or perhaps one of his clones breaking off on your own quest? The answer isn't the most surprising, but it makes for a thrilling conclusion to the adventure. The rest of the game's story didn't quite resonate with me. However, it's clear that Game Science had the freedom to deviate from the source material, but I still felt lost when trying to follow every facet of Black Myth Wukong's narrative. It helps that each of the game's 6 chapters revolves around a relatively self-contained tale, dealing with universal human emotions such as love, hate, and greed, yet it still feels like a story best experienced by those with intimate knowledge of the source material. References and concepts from Journey to the West and other Chinese mythology frequently flew over my head, so I found it difficult to invest in both the broader picture and more of its intimate yarns. It's a shame because finally seeing a Chinese take on a Chinese story as classic as this one is inherently fascinating. A lot of people have only experienced the story through the lens of another country's adaptation, and it's clearly been treated with a lot of care and attention to detail. There are moments I love, like every encounter you have with a headless monk who serenades you with a sanxian, and the character designs are universally fantastic. But the story is hard to latch onto if you're unfamiliar with Journey to the West or Chinese folklore and mythology in general. Fortunately, one of Black Myth Wukong's greatest strengths is how it weaves Sun Wukong's wondrous abilities into the framework of its fast-paced combat. The Monkey King is known for wielding Ru Yi Jinggu Bang, a magical staff that can shrink and extend at will. He can also create clones of himself from a single strand of hair, freeze enemies in place with a point from his finger, and shapeshift into a vast array of different forms. All of these abilities are represented in the game, expertly showcasing the Monkey King's prodigious combat capabilities. By executing combos with the staff, you'll see it elongate to bludgeon enemies with extra ferocity before reverting back to its original size. You can also make use of various spells that consume mana and operate on cooldowns. These include the ability to generate clones of yourself to give enemies more than a single target to focus on, and the use of a magic spell called Immobilize that lets you freeze your foes in place for a few seconds, giving you time to wail on them while they're haplessly trapped, or using the opportunity to take a step back and heal. Shapeshifting is a significant part of your arsenal too, as you're able to transform into specific previously defeated enemies and utilize their different movesets and weapons. One of these transformations is called Red Tides, which you acquire early on after defeating the giant wolf Guangzhi. By shapeshifting into this ferocious canine, you're able to wield his flaming glaive to inflict burn damage on your opponents as you twirl around and pull off a variety of combos. What's more, each transformation has its own health bar, essentially providing you with an extra life. Once this health bar is extinguished or you've used up all your might by performing various attacks, you transform back into your usual self. While shapeshifting and using quick use spells to freeze enemies and overwhelm them with clones is rewarding, the core of Black Myth Wukong's combat lies in its unusual combo system. Light attacks are essentially a means to build focus points, which are spent to unleash different heavy attacks. With enough upgrades, you can eventually bank up to 3 of these points at a time, and the game's entire combat economy is built on farming focus and cashing it in as soon as possible to deal significant damage. Light attacks do feel fairly weightless as a result, which is further emphasized by the small amount of damage they chip off each boss's health bar. The game's sense of impact comes from executing a full combo, especially if you're able to transition from a light combo into a heavy finisher. In these moments, your staff begins to glow red hot as it hurtles through the air and collides with an almighty thump. These attacks deal a ton of damage and regularly stagger enemies in satisfying fashion. Finding openings and using Immobilize to give you the time to pull off these combos is the basis of Black Myth Wukong's combat. Once you're able to keep a combo going while mixing in dodges and utilizing your bag of tricks, each boss fight becomes a frenetic and exhilarating dance to the death. As an elaborate boss rush, Black Myth Wukong lives and dies on the quality of its boss battles, and for the most part they're excellent. Each of the game's 6 chapters offers a rogues gallery of thrilling foes to fight. Known as Yao Guai, these mythological beasts range from a giant black bear to a traditional Chinese dragon, a blood-spattered tiger, and many, many more in between. Blocking is not part of your extensive repertoire, and the only form of parrying is limited to a magic spell on a cooldown timer, so you need to excel at dodging to make it through each fight alive. This might sound intimidating if you don't usually play through action RPGs, but outside of a couple of boss fights in later chapters, the game's difficulty isn't particularly challenging. This is coming from a Souls-like veteran, so my gauge on what's hard might be slightly skewed, but I defeated a number of the game's bosses on my very first attempt. I still wouldn't say Black Myth Wukong is approachable, however, as its toughest bosses still pose a considerable threat, and there aren't any difficulty options. The ramp up to its most challenging moments is just a little more forgiving. Whether you're fighting on a frozen lake surrounded by snow-capped mountains or sloshing through a shallow pool of blood, these battles against Yao Guai are frequent triumphs. There's a sense of balletic elegance to its best boss fights, mixing martial arts influences with supernatural flair to create these tense and awe-inspiring encounters. You're often challenged to learn attack patterns to nail the timing on dodges and figure out where openings occur so you can get a combo in. But there are also opportunities to be strategic with your abilities too. Immobilize is ineffective against certain bosses, so you might go for a different spell, or vary your transformations to attack an enemy's elemental weakness. Even if I sometimes found bosses relatively easy, that didn't take away from their thrills, while the toughest among them were often met with a pounding heart and palpable elation when I finally managed to emerge victorious. The game's ability to produce this sensation is where Black Myth Wukong feels most like a Souls-like. There are more obvious similarities, such as a checkpoint system that respawns enemies when you rest, and a flask for healing that has a finite number of charges and can be refilled at said checkpoints. Yet aside from this, Game Science wasn't lying when it said it wasn't making a Souls-like. This is none more obvious than in the game's level design. For the most part, your path through each chapter is linear, albeit with a couple of forks in the road leading to optional bosses and crafting materials used for brewing potions and forging armor. Occasionally it opens up with more expansive areas, featuring numerous branching paths, but progression is still usually confined to a singular route, so linearity is present even when it doesn't initially appear to be. This isn't inherently bad, but the level design is straightforward and unimaginative, issues that are further compounded by an abundance of jarring invisible walls and a jump that's functionally useless for most of the game. Throw in only a smattering of enemies that don't pose much of a threat, and the sections between boss fights feel disappointingly sparse and languid. I also need to mention a moment near the end of the game that stumped me for several hours, because the solution is incredibly specific but not at all obvious, especially when there's nothing else like it in the game. This sapped the momentum from the final chapter, and had me questioning whether I had encountered a game-breaking bug or was just being ignorant. Each environment you explore does at least look fantastic. When you're running through a bamboo forest grove punctuated by falling leaves and dense vegetation, or planting your feet on the sun-kissed rocks of a craggy canyon, Black Myth Wukong is frequently beautiful. It ran exceptionally well for me on PC too, compiling shaders at the outset to prevent the dreaded Unreal Engine 5 stutter. Black Myth Wukong is an uneven game, where the highlights often outnumber the lowlights. Its triumphant boss battles and fast-paced combat make up for the stale moments in between, where bland level design and a scarcity of enemies will have you clamoring for the next face-off with a deadly Yao Guai. I appreciate that it's not just another Souls-like in what is now a crowded genre, and the choice to go for a boss gauntlet is unexpected and honestly quite refreshing. It's disappointing that it falters outside of its cinematic clashes against mighty beasts, but designing this many rousing boss battles while avoiding a sense of fatigue is no mean feat and deserves praise.
So they like the game a lot. The game's considering pretty great. It's strange to not give it a 9. Rate it 8.5. I guess that's what they feel. I guess that's exactly what they feel. Incredible. I'm gonna play this game. I'm gonna just for one. It might be good. Alright. Back to what I was looking at before. So crazy. Hell nah. Nah. That's what I wanted y'all to see. Candace, he had an interview with AJ. That's great.
What do your prayers look like with you and God?
That is a very personal question. When my husband and I pray together, it is just about, first and foremost, we just have a ton of people that we name that we ask him to, intercede on behalf of their lives. Like this is, we pray for this person, this person, this person, this person. So the majority of the prayer, I would say, is just praying for other people. Believe it or not, we pray for our enemies.
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah, and I mean it to people when I'm like, I genuinely wish you well. Because where you are at right now is such a dark place. If you can do these sorts of things, that like I can't even really be mad at you. I have to feel bad for like where you're at because I'm not there. And then giving thanks, and without question, I always ask him for strength to continue doing his will in the world. Is probably that's a direct thing that I say in all of my prayers. Thank you for the continued strength to keep doing your will in the world.
Amen. What are your
that is what I'm talking. It gave me a peace of mind for sure. I'm gonna watch one more real quick and then.
Do you find yourself thinking about God more than you used to?
Yes, without question.
Really?
Yes, it is just one of those things. I've never been more confident in who I am as a person, and I think that needs to be said. And a couple of years ago, or I would even say just getting started in politics, it's a wild world. And you do realize that people do sell out. You do realize that there are people that don't have courage to say certain things. There's a lot of backhanded messaging and texting that's going on because people have aligned themselves to groups and not principles, which I think is wrong. But something changed for me spiritually when I got married and when I had children. And I would say that I became laser focused. And I've never felt more secure. I've never felt more sure that I will land on my 2 feet if I follow a path that I deem to be righteous. And I am not speaking these things to myself. That's God operating.
I find it inspiring. Do you find yourself thinking about God more than you used to?
Yes, without question.
Really?
Yes, it is just one of those things. I've never been more confident in who I am as a person. And I think that needs to be said. And a couple of years ago, or I would even say just getting started in politics, it's a wild world. And you do realize that people do sell out. You do realize that there are people that don't have courage to say certain things. There's a lot of backhanded messaging and texting that's going on because people have aligned themselves to groups and not principles, which I think is wrong. But something changed for me spiritually when I got married and when I had children. And I would say that I became laser focused. And I've never felt more secure. I've never felt more sure that I will land on my 2 feet if I follow a path that I deem.
All right, we about to play the game. Give me a second. We're gonna play the game, and then we're gonna play the game. We're gonna play Sonic today. I think that's a good game to start with first. Then I'm about a second one. I wish they would make a third Sonic Adventure. That'd be cool. But we're gonna play the game on the computer, guys. How about that? Give me a few. We're gonna be right back, and we're gonna play the game. How about that? I like that. All right.
Alright, back again. Let's play some Sonic. Play some Sonic. Too much seriousness going on. Sega.
Select a file. You can customize various options. Sound test. You can listen to various music tracks. You can customize. Select a character.
Slow down. I just wanna get to know you. Psych. I don't know you, buddy. Oh, damn. Let's get back to the game.
Let's get him! Oh yeah! This is happening! Huh? What's up?
You are completely surrounded. Surrender yourself. Lock on target, men. Ready? Fire! Oh no! Our weapons are useless! Retreat! All personnel, fall back!
Oh yeah! This could be fun!
Jump up, then press the jump button again to do the homing attack.
Hey, I'll play with you some other time!
We are playing this in real time. This is actually being played at time. Yeah. What's going on, Chris? How you feeling? How you feeling? Today we ain't doing nothing serious. We just playing the game and vibing.
Come on, you big drip! Where you going?
Like, subscribe, and comment if you can hear me, my boy.
You know nothing, fool! It's Chaos, the god of destruction!
You're gonna crash! Ah! Tails! Now, what am I gonna do with you?
You gotta fucking help him. That's what you did.
panels 2 and 3. Jump as soon as you land on a panel or else you'll fall. Jump on panel number 1. It will take you to panels 2 and 3. Jump as soon as you land on a panel or else you'll fall.
What's going on, Chris Randamano? Or I might not be saying your name right. My bad, bro.
Yeah, not
How
bad.
you feeling tonight? We just chilling in the game and shit like that. Like, subscribe, comment.
Hey, Sonic! Long time no see, huh?
I'm just glad you're okay. What happened anyway? You're too good of a pilot to just crash like that.
That was a test run using a new prototype propulsion system. It's got a few bugs to iron out.
Why not just use my plane, the Tornado?
Thanks, but you gotta check out my newest power supply. Ta-da!
Whoa! A Chaos Emerald!
Yep, I just happened to find one of the 7 emeralds during one of my test flights. This thing's got unlimited power, you know. So I figured, why not use it to power my plane? Supercharge! You gotta come over to my workshop, Sonic. I've got something I've gotta show you. It's in the Mystic Ruins. The fastest way is by train. Let's go!
I miss when games was like this in a way, because it left room for your imagination. Like, yeah, the games was not perfect at all whatsoever, but these games made you love video games. I'm not saying games should go back to looking like this, but I think the shit was better like this to give you room for imagination. I mean, we are in a good graphical sense, but it's like, are the games more important because they're graphically good or because they're actually fun? That still look very simple, and that's just a 2D image. Yes,
The train headed for the Mystic Ruins will be departing soon.
That's pretty impressive for a game like this to be able to travel from city to city. Like, pretty clever. Considering how this was made. Music is on fire.
If it isn't Sonic!
Look, it's a giant talking egg.
Silence! I am Dr. Robotnik, the greatest scientific genius in the world!
Whatever you say, Eggman.
Enough! I've got big plans, and now I'm gonna put them to work!
You're always up to no good. Now what do you want?
I want all of the Chaos Emeralds! Better not interfere! Or else!
Or else what, you big loser?
Or else I'll take them from you by force! The hard way!
Back on this shit, it was pretty detailed.
All systems, full power! All systems, full power!
That did not look right. No, dude.
Hey, I'll play with you some other time.
Who do you think I am?
Well, that wasn't so hard.
Aha!
Oh no!
Come on, Chaos! Time to eat!
Chaos? Oh no, isn't that the same monster I saw the other day?
Oh, yes! It's just as the stone tablets predicted! His strength increases every time I feed him a Chaos Emerald! With all 7 emeralds in him, he'll be invincible! And work for me! Together, we'll destroy Station Square! And on its ruins, I'll build Robotnik Land, the ultimate city, where I will rule it all! Come on, Chaos! Let's find another emerald
can get away with this, can we?
No way, Tails!
Without more emeralds, the monster can't transform. So, it's up to us to get the emeralds before Eggman does, huh?
Tails' workshop should be around here somewhere. To the Mystic Ruins, you might find something. The train headed for the Mystic Ruins will be departing soon. Tails' workshop should be around here somewhere. workshop should be around here somewhere.
What's going on, bro? Not much. Just out here chilling. Not even gonna lie, bored as hell. What's going on, bro? A little bored, so I had to play one of the classics. You know what I'm saying? I like this. I ain't gonna lie. I feel like this is the games that we fell in love with because it allowed us to kind of like just go through it, but replaying it, I see it now. Like, we used to really think this was like top of the line type of graphics. That's insane. Man. I don't be knowing where the fuck. Scap Shine, my brother. I don't know how I'm about to see. So I need to push. So this is fine. Okay, so that's jump. This yeah. Okay. It's a puzzle. What y'all got going this weekend? What's going on in y'all world? Skepshine. Ooh. Ain't gonna lie, man. I'm think I'm after the live stream tomorrow. I'll show y'all this place where I got some Japanese Doritos from. That shit fucking Japanese Doritos. Like, I promise you, they are really good, bro. They got some strange ass flavors. I had one called Sanchu chicken. I can't wait. Like, I ain't even gonna lie. I just got I need to jump on the tech end for sure. Right now, I'm playing Steam because my damn account off. I'm mad as fuck. I need to get you on this stream, bro. I ain't even gonna lie. We gotta do a stream or something one day where we just play the whole game and we got our faces and everything showing for the world. For those who don't know, this is one of the dopest Tekken player that I know, and one of my brothers right here for sure, Skepshine. If you have not heard his beats yet, please go and head over to SoundCloud and go and follow him. Absolutely, make sure you do that. I'm gonna get my shit on. Don't worry, I'm gonna be beating ass again. But I gotta get my shit back on first. I ain't gonna lie. They wanted their $10. Shit, I ain't even gonna lie. I'm just like, damn, man. I'm like, shit. But it's cool. Once I get back on the Tekken, I'm about to do some shit on there. Ooh, but today pretty a quiet Friday. It's a quiet Friday. Ain't much to do today. Bro, you ever you hear a rumor about them making Sonic Adventure 3? They actually might be doing it. A rumor though. It's an alleged rumor. Absolutely, no problem. Appreciate the love. Okay, yeah, I'm just now getting to Texas. Yeah. No problem, my boy, my guy, my friend, my brother, my comrade, the nigger. So I quit. Yeah, I quit. My boy. Nah, but I did hear a rumor that they are gonna be making a third one of these. I hope they do. I ain't gonna lie, I hope they do for real. Baby. Alright, let me see. I'm gonna try to get this going real quick. So I have to go and find that green thing. I just seen it somewhere. Oh shit, hold on, I think I know what's that. This is crazy. I think it's over here. I forgot where I went to go and get it, but I know I'm close. 3. No, I hope they don't remake the third from 1 to 3 though. Like, if we talking how Ragnarok is, then yeah, I would love to actually see a remake for the for 1, 2, and 3 of God of War. But I don't know. Like, would it be a bad thing to touch something that's already good as is? Like, I don't know. I mean, if they enhance it, fuck yeah, because that third game is, oh shit. That third game is very nice. So I would love to see what they do with it if they are going to remake it. I see a lot of things and a lot of companies are going back to remake the classics. I haven't played the remake of 7 yet. I mean, well, the rebirth of 7. I'm still on the end of a remake. And I think shit, my girl beat Final Fantasy 16. So that was very interesting. So yeah, I think Resident Evil 4. I think there's gonna be a Resident Evil 5 remake. I know for sure they're probably just gonna redo 6. That shit might or might not come at this point. We're not sure. All right, let me see. Windy Cave, West Cave. Try to get to West Cave.
The train headed for Station Square will be departing soon.
Windy Valley.
The wind is making an invisible path. Don't be afraid. Go through the gate. straight up. You should be able to get out of the tornado. Jump on panel number 1. It will take you to panels 2 and 3. Jump as soon as you land on a panel or else you'll fall.
Not bad.
Like, subscribe, and comment.
The train headed for Station Square will be departing soon.
See what's on the internet real quick.
If you want to learn how to edit really well from professional Hollywood editors, we're going to show you the stuff that nobody else is teaching. I'm talking about real creative skills, like how you can use music and sound design to make a joke funnier, how to use cross-cutting to control the tension. You're going to learn about feature editing, trailer editing, action editing, pacing out drama, layering sound design, and how to organize it all in your timeline so it's easier to work with. Hey, I'm Chris, lead trainer at Film Editing Pro, and I've spent the last 15 years working in Hollywood, most of that time at Universal Pictures. For almost a decade, our courses have been used by editors working at major studios like Disney, Universal, Warner Brothers, Blizzard Electronic Arts, and HBO. Huge businesses like Red Bull and the UFC. Massive YouTube channels like Linus Tech Tips. And agencies all around Hollywood cutting the trailers for some of your favorite movies. We've trained a lot of editors. Recently, we put together a short course with 14 of our most popular lessons across all topics. This is going to be your starting point for training with us. Click the ad and I'll show you what I mean.
YouTube chicks.
73 million. Williams have officially ruined the interview market. After kicking off the year with their very explosive interview, which by the way, that interview is currently sitting at 73 million views right now, which is one of the most viewed interviews on YouTube ever. Now, of course, with a very successful interview comes the money. Shannon Sharp made it known that he made a couple million from the interview. Not only that, but I believe he gifted a very expensive Rolex watch to Cat Williams.
Put it like this here. I made more money on Cat Williams alone than I made in any year that I played the NFL. Coming your way. And you know, we talked about this, Ocho. Everybody was talking about how much money I made doing the Cat Williams interview. Whatever you think, I just got the check. So whatever you think I made, 3x it. Let me see. So if you think I made 500,000, 3x it. If you think I made $1 million, 3x it.
Damn.
If you think I made $2 million, 3x it.
Well, now it looks like other comedians are now starting to take notice and demanding a lot of money for interviews. DJ Vlad was doing an interview with Ari Spears, and he told him, yo, you know how much Marlon Wayans was trying to charge me for an interview? $40,000 plus 30% revenue for all Vlad TV interviews. Now, Vlad has established himself as a platform that pays people for interviews. If he wants to do an interview and he feels like he's gonna make his money back from you, he's gonna pay for it like he does with Boosie and other celebrities. Now, off top, I'm not even gonna lie to you guys, 30% of all revenue from Vlad TV interviews is insane. Now, don't get me wrong, from Marlon Wayans' point of view, it's a great deal for him. Basically, you're gonna be getting a residual check for your entire life. But if you're Vlad TV, not only is that a crazy ass request, but it's unheard of. There's no current interview platform that's giving out this kind of deal. I'm not too mad at the 40K, even though that is a crazy amount for an interview. With the way Vlad cuts up interviews into 500 different parts, I think he could definitely get close to making that back. Now, a lot of people feel like Vlad was disrespecting Marlon Wayans when he told the story. People feel like Vlad is not respecting him as a legend in the game. Vlad was very dismissive towards Marlon Wayans, insinuating that he was not worth anything close to 40K. Now, somebody tweeted Marlon Wayans telling him, bro, you a good one, because Vlad would have had to pay me 500K for an interview with 55% of all revenue made from the video on all platforms. Marlon Wayans responded saying, see, I try to tell him I was giving him a deal. Oh well. And then Vlad comes in response to Marlon Wayans. It says Marlon Wayans found somebody with 200 followers to agree with him. Nobody on earth is going to pay Marlon 40K for an interview when he gets 100K to 300K views on any platform he interviews on. This guy is really delusional. Now come on Vlad, let's be nice here. If the man told you his price, that's his price. If he's getting 100K to 300K per video, and we know you're probably gonna cut him up into at least 100 videos, that's a pretty penny right there, Vlad. Marlon Wayans is definitely still relevant. There's a lot of things you can ask him. His house was just broken into a couple weeks ago. He recently got a lot of hate for defending his kid that's trans. Come on, Vlad, you know how to get a good story and a good title for these videos. I definitely don't think it was tasteful exposing you guys this conversation about these numbers, but hearing these numbers, Marlon Wayans, you kinda tripping, brother. You guys get in the comments below. Do you guys think Vlad is tripping for refusing to pay Marlon Wayans 40K plus 30% revenue? Post your comments below. Subscribe to my channel, like this video. I'll see you guys later, man.
Shit, 40K for an interview. I want to do a few of them interviews. I ain't even gonna cap. But you don't just do those things. Like, that's something you gotta really organize and get involved with people you may or may not know and shit like that. So I would love to try it. Honestly, I would. I ain't gonna sit here and cap. You know, to tell my story is very deep. But I ain't gonna lie. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know. Just having fun. Have fun, I guess. I would love to do it though. Absolutely. Or at least make a channel on it or something like that. Like something interesting. Sure. Let's get back to the game. Matter of fact, hold on. I'm gonna take a break, guys. We'll be right back. It's not none, but yeah, let me take a break. I'll just play it with you. I love fucking with people. Look, I'm probably gonna continue the stream in a moment, but we will be right back after this stuff for real. If you haven't had a chance yet, please like, subscribe, and comment. You don't have to like it for any other reason, and if you do like it, thank you. Thank you. Shout outs to the new subscribers, Patricia, J Brown, Dex13, and Men. Man, these names are strange, y'all. George Slate, Ron George, George Slate, and Ron George. Ain't that a bitch? George Slate and Ron George. That's crazy right there. I give them that. George Slate and Ron George, they the same damn name. And Rob making it weird. That's another subscriber. So thank you guys for subscribing. Appreciate y'all. I can see this real time. That's pretty much it. We're gonna take a little pause real quick, and I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue playing this Sonic. You know what I'm saying? This Sonic game. You remember this one? Sonic Adventure DX.
Better get going. Better get going.
There's a place somewhere in the city where you can go down into the sewer.
I think it's funny because, like, people used to praise this game called Half-Life and Halo, and Halo still has a big audience, but not necessarily like now. It doesn't have like a huge audience anymore, but hey, you know, it is what it is on that part. You know what I mean?
Better get going.
It plays. Yeah, it works. Works out. So yeah, the Half-Life game used to be bigger than this game, right? And Kingdom Hearts 2 was bigger than Kingdom Hearts and all that. The biggest games around that time. Don't touch that mama. But the biggest games around that time was like pretty much Halo and Half-Life 2. People were saying at that time, oh, these games will never be forgotten. People are gonna play them for a long, long time. And don't get me wrong, they will always play the OG games, but I don't know too many people. This is no diss to the people playing Half-Life at all, 1 or 2, or as many episodes as 2 has. But like, I feel like it's funny that those games were praised like a mug back then, but now games like this, Kingdom Hearts, and Crash Bandicoot, games that weren't considered like, oh, we're gonna, you know, the top dog games. Back then, they were top dog to us. And now these games are bigger than pretty much anything that could come out. If that makes sense. It's funny as fuck. Like, that's crazy.
There's a place somewhere in the city where you can go down into the sewer.
got some new
Now you've got Lightspeed shoes. Press and hold the action button to store up power. Once you have enough power, release the button and you can do the Lightspeed dash. The Lightspeed dash lets you race toward rings at light speed. As long as there's a trail of rings, you can go just about anywhere.
Sonic Adventure 2. That's when he was getting real modern, and it was really nice that I liked about it.
Use the light dash to run along the paths of rings. Hold the action button and let go when you have enough power. Use the light dash to run along the paths of rings. Hold the action button and let go when you have enough power.
Ready, go! Ready, go! Ready, go!
You can go to the casino area at nighttime.
train headed for the Mystic Ruins will be departing soon. Try and deposit as many rings as you can. It may even help show you the way. Try and deposit as many rings as you can. It may even help show you the way.
deposit as many rings as you can. It may even help show you the way. Try and deposit as many rings as you can. It may even help show you the way.
What? Did I just get that message? What the fuck just happened? Hold on, guys. Got 13 people in this motherfucker. Hold on, let me see. The fuck was that? What? I'm trying to make sure it's ain't a joke or something. Hold on. Weird. I'm gonna tell you in a minute. I'm trying to make sure. What the fuck? How did Josh get in trouble? Hold on, wait a minute. We're gonna have to pause, guys. I thought this was a joke. What the fuck? Okay, hold on. We're gonna take a good 5-10 minute, guys. And we'll be right back. Hold on.
I'm happy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Listen, hey guys, I just want to tell y'all I'm about to exit out real quick. But be prepared for the live stream that I'm having with It's a Barb. Um, he will be she will be doing a double album breakdown. She's pretty good at this too. I want y'all to kind of get to know her when she does stuff. Be tuned in tomorrow. That starts at about 10 a.m. Thank you to everybody that was watching the stream live. Simple little stream. Thank y'all. Bless one. Don't subscribe. And peace. Thank you.